Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. My name is David, this is David K Reacts, and here on this channel I ramble with articulation, I hope, about a variety of different musical, audio and visual elements of the videos that I watch. And today we're watching a video that I've been looking forward to for a long time. I don't know why it hasn't hit the rotation yet. Something's always pipped it to the post for some reason. That is Geoff Castellucci's Shenandoah. I'm super excited for this one because I love this song so much. I heard it very, very young. I think my grandmother had a recording of the Paul Robeson version, and it's just gorgeous. And I've heard a variety of versions since. I think Willard White may have sung it. I know I heard that, and I don't remember everybody else I have heard sing. One version actually that is notable and stands out to me because it sounds so different is actually the version with Tom Waits and Keith Richards, which Tom Waits does in his sort of low growl voice, and it sounds like a bar full of drunk at the end of the night sailors singing the song. It's quite extraordinary. And it did, I was looking into it, apparently it did actually become a capstan shanty for a while, which sailors would sing while hauling the anchor, which makes sense. The away, away, all the away, away sections would become responses. And that does actually make sense. I could see that working. It's not exactly a hugely upbeat, row the boat for a long time kind of shanty, but for a specific action that would be completed relatively quickly, I could see it. But it's a magnificent piece of music. Origin not technically known. It's believed to come from the Americas and the Canadas, and dates to the early 19th century, we think. Or at least that's the information that I have according to Wikipedia. Again, please correct me if I'm wrong, because I know that Wikipedia is not always accurate, but it is somewhere that, usually has a decent amount of pretty salient information. But yeah, it's just so beautiful and so evocative and poignant, and I'm really excited to see what Geoff does with it. I don't really have much more to say than that, I don't think, so I will say welcome back to my channel. Welcome if this is your first time here. If it is, the way I work, I'm going to watch this through from beginning to end, commenting and emoting over the top. I will then go back a second time, pausing and interrupting this time, and offering what commentary and analysis I feel I can, based on what I've seen and heard and the foreknowledge of the one prior viewing. I will also say apologies. I am in the midst of one of my traditional late winter, early spring colds right now, so my voice may sound a little bit gummed up. I apologize. Please do like the video, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, and if you would care to support the channel, you could do so by heading to buymeacoffee.com/DavidKReacts, to patreon.com/DavidKReacts, or by leaving a super thanks here on YouTube, any of which would be gratefully appreciated if you choose to do them. That's it. So without any further delay, let's head over to Mr. Castellucci and see what he does with Shenandoah. Live, real piano. Oh, that's nice. Gorgeous introduction.
Oh, Shenandoah,
love it.
long to see you. And hear your rolling river. Oh, Shenandoah, I long to see you.
Oh, just that one note hanging on too.
Away, we're bound away across the wide Missouri.
That's gorgeous. Oh, there's the gramophone in the corner.
Oh, Shenandoah, I love your daughter, and hear your rolling river. For her I crawl, your rolling
Oh, this is so beautiful.
away, I'm bound away across the wide Missouri.
I love his incorporation of the chorus Jeffs in this.
Across the wide Missouri, oh Shenandoah, now I must leave you river, oh Shenandoah.
Oh, the minor. Wow.
Across the wide, across the wide, across the wide, across the wide, Shenandoah.
Nice.
Long to hear you far away, you rolling river, oh Shenandoah.
Crunchy.
Away, I'm bound away.
Oh, the canon is gorgeous. Great choice. Woo! Woo! Oh, yes. Stunning. That's lovely. That's really lovely. Oh, you can tell this is older. He doesn't have an album cover for it, or a single cover. It's a lovely piano part he wrote. Oh, there it is. Never mind. Ignore me. Oh, actually, that's so good with the slightly cracked keys and... Ah, that's really evocative image, actually. Oh, wow. That's stunning. There's a couple of points in there that were just so like, ooh, send shivers down your spine in the good way. That's really, really wonderful. Oh, damn, Geoff. I'm just going to see if there's anything in the description. I shall be back. So nothing unexpected there. Geoff and Kathy doing most of this with Ed on the audio side. That makes complete sense. Let's go back and watch this again and just... Oh, this is magnificent. What a wonderful arrangement. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do set first. This set is ideal. This is in Patty Cake. This slightly dilapidated brick wall with the white paint. Like, you can see the bricks through it, it's peeling off, it looks old, it looks dated. There's something about it that suits the tone of this incredibly well. And the simple set dressing of bookshelves, mostly books, a couple of things, the art piece facing the wrong way is a really interesting choice. Like, it kind of... either that or it's a corkboard, I'm not sure which, but with the regimental kind of pins in it, it made me think that there was something pinned to the other side. But regardless, the blank spaces and the use of blanks even in, arguably even the back of the piano is blank to an extent. Really, really powerful. And I love the simple use of the lighting as well. You've got those two lights mounted on the wall, the one stand. Obviously, this is very brightly lit from the front, and I'm assuming there's a fair amount of light coming in through the window as well. Just based on the sheen that's caused on the top left-hand corner there. But there's something about this that is just very open and accepting of almost anything, but it somehow fits this particularly well. And then, of course, as I spotted the gramophone in the corner, as Geoff does. And then the costuming, the idea of him basically in all blue with brown shoes and a couple of small brown accessories. It's keeping things minimalist in a way this song does the work. You don't need stuff around it to do the work for it. And I think that was all really, really smart choicing. So just wanted to comment on that, because there's not that much to say about it other than it's minimalist and it's brilliant. So So, firstly, lovely tone that he's got on this piano. We've got it's kind of very warm. It's a little bit airy, just a touch, and so there's a sense of the ethereal about it. But I do really enjoy that you can hear the mechanism of the pedal as he's playing it. The onset and the pull off of it as he's switching between. One, it's just interesting as a musician to hear his pedaling, but also it adds authenticity to the realism of the instrument, and I think that's a really, really nice touch to be able to hear that. But this little sequence, just da 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 da, it's a very, very simple rundown, but it's really, it kind of pulls you into exactly the vibe I think he's going for with this. And then he just holds on the fifth over the top of this, so while everything's moving underneath it, that it's such a beautiful note to have hanging, and to actually just leave it there over so many chord. Oh, my mouse is on the screen. Over so many chord changes as well, underneath it of what's effectively going on harmonically. Really, really lovely. And choosing the fifth is great because the fifth is a very uncontaminated note in a scale. It's difficult to kind of push it out of key, and so it's a very, very safe note to hold on there and have these changes going on underneath. It kind of matches with almost anything, not quite everything, but almost. And I love the way he produces that note. It's almost straight the whole way through. There's a slight vibrato creeps in just towards the end, and then just a hint of creak. And I think that the changing tone through that, straight, you can hear just a bit of vibrato come in there. And then there's just that tiny, it's so small. Just a little, I'm exaggerating it there because I don't have the finesse that Geoff has, but that, and then that leading into, like, the vibrato comes in, the creak comes in, and then he moves. It's almost like it's all leading up to that move. That's gorgeous. And then the drop down to the tonic that eventually just he just falls off it. And this lovely little chord sequence. There's a simplicity to this that is so powerful. And that's really what the sort of core is of this, is simplicity. He gets complicated with chords a little bit later, but it's born out of simplicity, and so he earns the right to have a few chords here and there that do something a bit smushy. And I think it's the way that he's constructed this to start out so open, so it's very, it can be easily influenced by adding in other stuff, and it gives him places to go. Again, one of my watchwords on this channel is evolution, and we're going to see it in this so well because he's starting out from such a simple base and he goes so many places with it. The fourth there is such an interesting choice. It foreshadows the use of it multiple times throughout the piece, and I really like the fact that he actually sings it here. I noted that it was there, but I didn't really think of it as anything other than a really interesting choice of note, because he started on the and then down to the and then up to so we're moving around a little bit, but the fourth in particular, because he brings it back in such interesting ways.
Shenandoah, long to see you.
That's such a great choice. He hits the chord on sh of Shenandoah and then doesn't play anything else. He leaves it to the voice to take over at that point in time. All of that piano has been set up for this moment. But what is so fascinating, and I think this is when he does it, is I'm assuming he's digitally extended the note that is holding on the piano, because a piano couldn't hold that note on for that long. It would naturally resonate for a while, but as the resonance settles in the string, it would fade away. What I think he's done is he's digitally held it through the entire first verse, or a chunk of it, and it's such an interesting choice.
Long to see you.
That you can just hear in the background.
Oh, Shenandoah, long to see you.
I actually...
Oh, Shenandoah.
I can't even tell if he actually played that note as part of that chord, or if it's either holding on from a previous occurrence in the last couple of chords before that, or if he's just snuck it in. But it's a really, really lovely effect.
Long to see you.
And then he holds on that U extra long. He doesn't rush onto the next line. You could easily just go straight into tempo. Doesn't do that. Gives himself time, and I think that's lovely because you can settle in this song very well.
And hear your rolling river, ocean.
Same again, holds it on. He's keeping it relatively sort of to melody at this point in time, but he's got that one little note humming on in the background, just continuing that one line that follows through this whole thing.
River, ocean and
one thing I actually really appreciate, like the fact that the other Geoffs in scene just makes small adjustments, like the one that's leaning on the piano stops leaning and rests his hand there instead. It's small things, but acknowledging the pianist and the, what I'm going to call prime Geoff. If you haven't seen my channel, my terminology for multiples of the same person is prime that person, being sort of the key one of this video. The fact that they are acknowledging him, it's such a lovely touch that he does that. They don't acknowledge him because he does a thing. It's not like he's just hit a subharmonic and they've all gone, ooh. They're acknowledging him simply because he's there in a room with them, and, you know, probably Geoff fidgets a little bit anyway. I would probably do the same. But the way that he does it is really, really lovely, and it seems like it feels like legitimate responses in a way to listening to whichever one of him is singing in the moment.
hear your rolling river, ocean and I long to see you away.
And still that note holds through. Really, really love. A nice little touch here.
Ocean and I long to see.
Long. His use that rather than just being I long to see you, I long to see you. It's an interesting motion having that melisma on the long. A melisma, incidentally, is when you sing multiple notes on the same syllable. And it's interesting having that there. It's unexpected. It's the first time he really diverges from the expectation of what we understand the melody to be, and I think that's an interesting choice.
See ocean and I long to see you away. We're bound away across.
Interesting, he's keeping his finger on the piano, or at least it looks like he is. It's hard to tell from that angle, as if he is still playing that note. So, you know, it's an obvious, very definite choice, but again, unless they've rigged something up inside, there's no way a piano would naturally be able to hold on a note for that long.
Away.
Sorry.
Across the wide Missouri.
And what's two really cool things there, I love the wide. My voice is shot. But the drop down to the wide there is really lovely. And what I think is particularly interesting is he doesn't wait around on Missouri. He's held all of these end notes of the lines a little bit longer, but it's just Missouri, boom, straight away he's playing. That delay isn't there, and I think that's really nice. It kind of pushes the song along a little bit.
At Missouri.
It's just a hint of a hold, but a hint. There's that fourth again. Lovely, lovely choice.
Oh, Shenandoah.
And then this lovely decision to go straight up and sing, at least a couple of octaves higher than he was. Oh, Shenandoah. Oh, Shenandoah. No, not that high. Oh, Shannon. Wow, my voice. I was actually able to sing earlier on today. I did a short gig for an hour. These evenings, I'm recording in the evening right now, and I think it's just the way colds work, but evenings are brutal. I apologize. I'm going to stop trying to sing because it's just painful. But anyway, his choice to go up there so significantly and have the other Geoffs come in underneath him is really, really nice because it gives us a real contrast to what we were just hearing.
Oh, Shenandoah, I love your daughter.
I love the way you daughter. It's the sort of slight adjustments he's making. There's a few of them, and it doesn't really, that could be legitimate, like that. People do that. That's how you perform songs like this a lot of the time. You just give little small things. And of course, he's going to go other places shortly. But I love those little adjustments that he's making. He's chosen them really, really well and in ways that suit his voice extremely well.
Oh, I love your daughter, and hear your rolling river.
Even the little runs there, they're kept fairly tight. So it's there now. We're immediately starting to push a little bit more into the envelope of, okay, this is a bit different. But they're so closely within the realm of what the song does, they could almost be fairly natural to it. And this is what I talk about evolution. He doesn't jump from 0 to 60. He gets there through various steps along the way, and that's how you kind of make it all feel credible within the song and not like you've suddenly heard something jarring out of nowhere.
Hear your rolling river, for her I crawl your rolling waters.
That's a really nice choice to have the chorus come in for, and I'm just going to say chorus. I recognise it's just more Geoff's, but it's an easy way of distinguishing them. Having them come in for her I cross, and then go back to the solo again, rather than making a whole line one or the other. It's a nice touch, and it kind of gives a little bit of variety to that midline. And of course, they've cut it straight in the middle of the line in a place that feels quite natural. Sometimes I talked in a recent video a couple of weeks ago, I think, about one of those that I wasn't quite sure I understood the decision behind, but this time I get it. And I think this works very, very well.
Your rolling, for her I crawl your.
And the change there, for her I'd crawl, whatever they're shifting to, again, I'm going to try and sing minimally. But that shift on the cross is really, really nice because it sets up the continuation of that with something else by moving that chord somewhere. And it's got a lovely kind of welcoming tone. It sort of pulls you in a little bit because of the chords that he hits there. Lovely stuff.
For her I crawl your rolling waters, away I'm bound.
I like the use there of the piano and the singing combined on Away. He sort of had this
Your rolling waters,
this ding dum 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 dum, like chord note. He's got that vibe going on.
away I'm
That dum dum. He sort of slows the pacing of the piano down a little bit for Away, so it gives that space to breathe. It's a really nice choice at that point. It kind of opens that word up a little bit, which I think makes sense for that. Away, I'm bound away. I'm off into the wild Missouri. That's a huge open space, and so he opens up the arrangement to go with that. That's lovely.
away I'm bound away across the.
That's lovely, that bound away, that right there in the chorus. Bound, I think, is the motion that happens. And it's just a lovely touch. They're quite tightly together, so it runs the risk of sounding a little muddy, and he just avoids that, which is great. And it just gives us this rich sound that supports the current solo Geoff.
Away
And there's one of those uses of the fourth that I was talking about. This is so beautiful here.
Across the wide.
We've been set up here. 2/5. Do, do, do is what you expect, but that's not what he does. He doesn't give us a 2/5/1, which is one of the most, standard and easy to comprehend chord sequences. He gives us a 2/5/4, which is only slightly removed from a 2/5/1 because the 1 is still in it. The tonic note is the 5th of the 4th, if that makes sense. So let's talk in C major. Again, I don't have my any instrument around me. My piano is actually not even in the basement right now. It's packed up elsewhere for the gigs that I'm doing. But let's talk in C major for a moment because it's nice and easy. C is your tonic note, so C, E, G is your tonic triad. When you're doing a fourth, your fourth of C, C, D, E, F, F, A, C is the fourth triad. So C, which was your tonic note, is there. It's just there in the 5th position. And so there's a word for it that's escaping me right now, but it's a sort of familial chord with C because it contains the note. And so it's a very, very easy thing to slip in like this. And the fact that that's what he does here is absolutely perfect. And he's foreshadowed it with those fourths earlier humming over the piano intros to the verses.
Missouri.
So that. And then he steps down over that note until he hits the tonic and the piano comes back in at the same time. Really lovely choice. Just something slightly not expected and realised in a beautiful way.
Missouri. Across the wide Missouri.
And I love under that we have this very riffy embellishment that he adds in there, but just underneath it you just get these dum, 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 just occasionally from the other Geoffs. And it just puts a little percussive tone to it.
Across the wide.
And it's split between the ears. It's like dum, 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 dum. And so it gives a little sonic effect that is different from everything else that we're hearing in the song. And it's just a really, really nice touch. It's almost aesthetic rather than being something that is a part of the arrangement. Obviously, it is part of the arrangement. But the feel it gives is almost an environmental sound rather than a part of the music. And I actually really like that choice.
Across the wide Missouri. Oh, Shenandoah, now I must leave you.
His choice to go into a canon here is so nice, and a canon is where you have some, it's you get taught them in primary school or kindergarten or whatever, where one group starts singing and then the next group starts singing a line later and that sort of thing, and that's what he's doing here. And it's so effective for this because you have this lovely full chorus sound, and then it's almost like it's kind of like a bass descant, if that makes any sense at all. The descant being Christmas carols, where in the final verse you have a soprano that goes ham over the top singing some crazy counter melody. It's almost like that kind of thing, but it's not. But that's the vibe it's giving me, where you have this solo that is doing something over a more cohesive chorus unit. It's really, really nice choice. And then he has things like that, where he sings way and river in time with them, but allows himself to embellish over the top of you rollin'. And I think it's lovely because the mixture of sounds that we're getting right now fills the texture out really well. Again, we've evolved. We're now hearing a different type of rhythmic construction. And I think it just adds a really lovely quality to this arrangement. Geoff has nailed this on so many different levels. there's the fourth in a really unexpected way. You do not see that one coming at all. Into a minor 4 out of nowhere. I don't think I've ever heard that in an arrangement of this song before, and it's stunning. This is such a good use of tonality. We have this beautiful creep into minor at exactly the right point, and he sets it up really well. He goes down to the 6th there before resolving to the 5th. Oh, and you expect it to be, oh, Shenandoah, back onto the tonic again. And instead he goes, oh, sha-da-da-da-da-da. He's gone up to, that's the minor 6th, I think? Da-da-da, which would make sense, yeah, because the minor 6th would be the minor 3rd of the 4th. It's just... that smacks really hard because it comes out of nowhere, and it, as I say, it's not at all what you expect. The song doesn't. Oops. Oh, what did I just do? Boo. The song doesn't do that. Must be there. Yeah, there we go. And so this is complete. Like we're far beyond just adding embellishments to something now, or adding passing notes in here. Now we've deviated completely from the expected chord sequence that we're coming here, and it's stunning. It really is the perfect moment as well, about 2/3 of the way through the song, to just hit us with something out of the blue. And this minor 4, which is one of the saddest chords, I think. It's so poignant because of its relation to the tonic. And if there's whole essays on chord theory out there on YouTube if you want to understand why certain chords are more impactful than others. But the minor 4 hits really, really hard, and his use of it right here is perfect. And then that lift, Shenandoah. Oh, he leans into it so hard. And now Shenandoah, and then we're out of it. We're back into the major again. Oh, that is genius, Geoff. Really is. I love that build as we get towards the end of that phrase. Such a lovely... the chorus is always there, but they only state themselves at the end. That's gorgeous.
I'm bound to leave you away. I'm bound away. Across.
It's so stunning the way he's using the chorus here. Like they go back into the so it's a much more reserved sound. And as he leads back into that open word again, that away to the big open expanse, they start to open out a little bit more. And they're quite... it is a little bit muddy here, but effectively so. Like, it's done by design, I think. And it's actually really, really potent because it's got this thick, tight resonance of the sound, being this chord that's not got a lot of space around it in terms of between the notes, and yet the feel of it really supports what Prime Geoff is doing.
I'm bound away. Across the way. Across the way. Across the way.
And then this use of sort of, it's almost feels like it's going to go into a canon again, but then it goes into this sort of call and response effect of the across the wide. It's allows him to build so quickly because each iteration of across the wide gets a little bit larger. It's really lovely.
Across the way. Across the way. Across the way.
And that wide, that final across the wide, It feels wide. We've got it because I don't think they're actually that much further apart, the three Geoffs, but because they're a little bit higher, it feels a little bit further apart, and that's really, really lovely. And that is actually also the case. Like if you're A4, which is your standard tuning note for an orchestra, 440 Hz. A3, 220 Hz. A2, therefore, 110 Hz. A1, which we hear Geoff hit so often, 55 Hz. So if you can imagine there's only 55 Hz between, in terms of sound frequency, between A1 and A2, that means that the gap, if you go up by 1 Hz, you've made a significantly bigger difference than if you go up by 1 Hz between A4 and A5, where it's going to be 440 Hz between the two of them. That's a 1 Hz at that point doesn't make much of a difference. So being a third apart is a larger number of Hertz higher up the register, which, simple translation being, the higher up you are, the wider a chord will feel, because it's a larger distance in terms of number of possible frequencies in between those notes. And so I think it's created this width in the chord that's really, really lovely as we go into this key change. I love the use of the cymbal there as well, those sort of either a reverse cymbal or just a gentle roll on one, just to create that shh as you go into the new section. Simple touch. We haven't had much percussion. It almost feels like it could be voices because it's just that shh sound, and it's really, really effective for that shift. This is a lovely choice right here. You get this lovely chord, and then he sings "I Long to Hear You," and you get the three Geoffs in pure unison. So they're all singing the same notes for "I Long to Hear You." And then immediately it spreads back out again. But I love that moment of unison. It's this interesting breath of fresh air because it's something different to what we've been listening to. It reinvigorates the arrangement straight away. Really lovely stuff. I like that choice too, the river. It just gives a little bit of punctuation. It changes the texture a little bit of the sound that we're listening to. And again, any change is a slight reinvigoration as long as it fits in with the song, which all of these do. And again, roll in is unison, and then we're immediately back out into harmony again. That note, wow. No matter how many times, it doesn't amaze me anymore. Like, I've heard Geoff sing B0, but it's always incredible to listen to, isn't it? Like, the purity of the sound he gets down there. And I love that we have up top. That wasn't the point I was trying to make. Oh, that was it. So the Shenandoah, near you. They catch up by singing just near you for that final section. There's the canon tightens up a little bit at that point, and I really like that. Shenandoah, just to be near And again, this use of switching between the Geoffs to sing the different parts of these lines is amazing because you build up that harmony by doing so. It increases. You get, you start out with just away, just for a hot second there. Those are the only two singing. Then we get Prime Geoff. And he holds a note on just as this other solo Geoff comes in over the top. And so all of a sudden we're building up this harmonic structure as we go through this section. It's just so good.
across the wide.
Oh! Ah! So good! This chord sequence there is stunning! Hang on, I want to go back slightly further.
Across the wide.
This shift of that bounce there.
Across the wide.
Across the wide. I love that because he's gone down. We've gone down to prime Jeff's lower register, and then he instead of singing across the wide, you get across the wide. So his line is descending, and that sets up this beautiful descent that we get from the choral Jeffs. This is so good, and then this. Oh, it is so good. I have no idea what these chords are. I don't have the brain to work that out. But this, I am assuming based on what I'm hearing in terms of the panning in my headphones, this Geoff on the left of the screen is the one singing Mezzo. And it holds through until this gorgeous chord here, and then he's just going to drop down to the major seventh for one little section. That change at the very end of the ooh is that whole sequence is like caramel in how kind of sweet and, you know, beautiful it is, and then he just that little touch at the end. Amazing stuff. So you're going from the minor third to the second to the first, the tonic. That's what the right hand Geoff is doing there, I think. And then the solo Geoff is in the middle. And then prime Geoff comes in with the re. And I love that choice to emphasize the re with an additional note. You have 3-part harmony for that outrageously beautiful sequence there. And then just re at the end for the final note. That is remarkable. And again, he lets a little crackle in re, and then a little breathy crackle starts to creep into the tone as he gets towards the end of it. Almost gives the vein of like a record. That is... Oh.
Across the wide Missouri.
Lovely stuff. And then the choice to drop down just to prime Geoff for that final across the wide Missouri. And it's a little bit more embellished this time too.
Across the wide.
And I love that he finishes there. And you could expect him to go down to whatever the note is. But I don't know what key we're in here. But the going to Missouri. Like, you could almost expect that. But he saves that note, funnily enough, for the piano. And he settles for the Zuri, there, I guess. But what I love is that where that note sits in his voice, that resonates really beautifully with the chord that he's played on the piano. It's just where it sits in his voice. It's just a perfect blend. Sometimes you get that voice. This is why voicing is so important. You could play an F sharp major chord, say, on the piano, and just play, I don't know, F sharp 4, A sharp 4, C sharp 5. And that's a perfect triad, and stick a F sharp 1 in the bottom of it. And it will sound like a chord. But if you play F sharp 2 and 3, and then C sharp 4 and A sharp 4, so you have this widespread chord, you get a much richer sound. This is obvious to some of you, but for those of you who don't know chord theory as well. And it's an extraordinary difference. And it also matches really well, when you're thinking about how you construct a piece of music that has multiple instruments, you also need to consider how they fit in. And this note is just, this final chord, including Geoff singing, is spot on. And again, the very last thing you hear is that pedal being withdrawn. Lovely stuff. So good. That's like a warm bath. It's comforting and just envelops you with the music. You're bathing in the music. That's so, so good. Woo! Geoff fully knocked that out of the park. That was quite stunning. I'm really, really impressed with the work that he did on that. And I never expect anything less than excellence from him, but I feel like this song really suits his. I think it suits bass voices in general, but it really suits his. And I think what he did with it just emphasized that point in a beautiful way. Really, really effective. Thank you, Geoff. That's quite magnificent. And thank you. I hope that you enjoyed that video, and I really appreciate the time you spend with me, especially if you're still here at the end. I really enjoyed this, and as I say, I hope you enjoyed my analysis of it. Absolutely magnificent piece of music. Really, really is. And whether I brought you this piece or Geoff, if that's the case, my goodness, check him out and check out Voice Play as well, the group he sings with. They are out of this world good. Or whether you've seen this version a bunch and I brought you something that made you go, oh, that's cool. Or I never thought about that before. Oh, that's why I like that thing. That's kind of what I'm trying to do here. And if I achieve that, I'm a very, very happy man. Thank you so very much for being here with me. I really appreciate it. Please hit the like button and the subscribe button and the notification bell. And if you care to support me, you can do so by heading to buymeacoffee.com/DavidKReacts, where you could leave a one-off donation of any amount, or indeed contribute to my wishlist item, which is currently an annual Adobe subscription for myself. I've paid for a month so that I can keep it going and keep the good quality, but I would like to get that annual so I can get it slightly cheaper. You could head over to patreon.com/DavidKReacts, where you can sign up for $2 or $4 Canadian, and that's just an ongoing means of supporting me, though I have plans in the works for more to do with that Patreon. It does give you access to my Discord, and your name will be up here if it isn't already, with my other supporters, or you could just leave me a super thanks here on YouTube, and any of those would be extremely gratefully appreciated. And that's about it. That's all I have time for this week. I'm going to go and have tea and a bath and generally just try and steam myself into oblivion. God, I hate colds. They're so irritating and so kind of like they're nothing, but they debilitate you in a way that's really annoying. But yeah, take care of yourselves. Have an absolutely wonderful rest of your day, whatever time it happens to be, morning, afternoon, evening, nighttime. I don't know. What should we go for today? Let's go for 7:01 p.m. Let's see if someone's watching then. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.